Hello there, it's Detective DJ, and welcome to our weekly show, The Crime Crushers. This week I have a very, very interesting mystery for you to solve. Rally in the Rose Garden. Welcome aboard, and let's get going. The crime scene is one of chaos. People shouting and guards trying to keep the crowd away from a general who has been found lying next to the podium. He's dead. He was found with his fists clenched and his facial features terribly distorted. It appears that he had been speaking at the podium for about 15 minutes when he collapsed and died shortly after. His suit jacket was lying close by on the grass, and in his suit jacket pocket were his wallet and his cell phone. The wallet contained the usual stuff of any wallet: credit card, his photo ID, some money in notes, about $200 in notes or around that, and there were some coins as well. His tie had been loosened. The two top buttons of his shirt were undone, and there were wine stains down the front of his shirt and on his tie. His speech notes were still sitting on the lectern, and his briefcase lay under the podium. And in the briefcase was the usual stuff again: some pens, some scratch pads, some file folders belonging to the general and his PDA. There was also something else in his briefcase, and that was 2 airline tickets, one-way tickets to Brazil. I wonder what that's all about. His security guard had formed a very tight circle around his body, and the crowd was in an uproar and surging forward when the police arrived. Guards did not want the crowd getting anywhere near their boss. Now, Dr. Shea Harrington, who's our resident psychologist, is assuming that the murderer did the following. He chose this location because it was a public spot. It was a rose garden. He chose this occasion because the general was going to be there, and it was a public event. And he chose the occasion because the general was going to be there speaking. And his reason being there was that he was there to make a public speech. Okay? Let's now go to part 3, and I'm going to briefly summarize for you and give you enough information to get you started on solving this murder mystery. So, we have a crime scene of total chaos and confusion. General has collapsed and has been found lying next to a podium. His facial features are all contorted, his fists clenched. He had wine stains down the front of his shirt and on his tie, suit jacket found near to his body, wallet and cell phone found in the suit jacket. The briefcase had been opened, and file folders, pen, scratch pad, and his PDA, and then 2 airline tickets, one-way tickets to Brazil, were found there. And that briefcase had been opened by the forensic specialists. The crowd was in an uproar. They wanted to know what was going on with their beloved general, and the general's guards would not have any of it. They didn't want the crowd anywhere near the general. Okay, so we fast forward on now to the suspects. Chris, who did not like the suspect because he felt that the general was all wrong for the army. Jeff, who probably wanted to settle accounts because the general had recently demoted him. And Kim, the general had been blackmailing her because he recently found her passing on secrets to a foreign government. And Mario, the general, had been having an affair with his wife. Part 4. Here's some questions for you to consider before telling us who you think did it. Which suspect could have had the strongest motive? What was the general doing with airline tickets in his briefcase? Ha ha ha! Why would the general have blackmailed, or why was he blackmailing Kim? Why would one think that the good general had been leading a double life? Here's what we think. We don't think that Chris had enough motive to want to kill the general. We also do not believe that Jeff had the guts to kill the general. He may have been very angry at the general for demoting him, but no, not really. Kim, well, she was caught spying for another government, and the general used this to blackmail her. He knew that she was a single parent and that she needed money in a very bad way, and he also knew that she had been doing this to make extra money. Kim was a very smart computer person, and the general used her skills to further his own causes. She was a computer whiz. She knew how to break into systems without leaving any trace. Kim knew that the general was a double agent, but she never had enough proof to turn him in. The general had also been having an affair with Mario Marquez's wife, Mario Marquez being the ambassador from Mexico to the United States. The ambassador recently found out that the general had been having an affair with his wife and that she had planned to leave him and go off to Brazil with the general. He was very, very angry, and when his wife had left him for the general, he just lost it. So, based on all this information, who do you think did it? Well, I'll tell you. At the dinner party, there were two persons with murder on their minds: Ambassador Mario and Kim. Ambassador Mario wanted his wife dead, and Kim wanted the general dead. When they both discovered what had happened with regard to the drinking of the wine, i.e. the switching of glasses, both of them became extremely distraught, and both of them confessed to what they had done. The ambassador was charged with the general's murder because he was the one who had put the poison in that glass of wine that the general had drunk. And that was a glass of wine that was found in front of the general's place setting. Despite the fact that the seats were switched, it was Ambassador Mario who was found guilty. So there you have it, folks. Another murder in the books. Rally in the Rose Garden. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now. Now we go to part 2, and we're going to start examining the motives behind this murder as we see it. Someone did not like the victim because of his views. Someone may have wanted to settle accounts with the general. The victim was blackmailing or had been blackmailing somebody. And the victim was having an affair with a married lady. Here's what our investigation showed. General Alexander Beaumont was a rising star. His father had been a general and his brother was a Navy man. His views were well known. He was a no-nonsense guy, and he was very much into the stamping out of corruption. He was a very hard worker, but he found time to play as well. He had made enemies along the way because of some of his views. He was loved by his superiors, but hated by some of his peers. General Alexander Beaumont was handsome, but also a bit ruthless. Not too long ago, he had demoted someone for insubordination. It was a trivial matter, but he demoted this person. It also appeared that the good general was leading a double life. He had recently left his wife for another. He had 3 young kids, and he was also a bit of a womanizer. Okay, let's look at the people that we have identified as those who could have committed this murder. Chris, Kim, Jeff, and Mario. First we have Chris. He did not like the general because of the general's views on various matters, and he just thought that the general was not the right person for the army. Jeff was the one that the general had recently demoted, and he could have been angry enough to want to get the general out of the way because it was a trivial matter. Kim was being blackmailed by the general because he had caught her passing on secrets to a foreign government. And Mario was the one whose wife was having an affair with the general. Alright, cause of death. General Alexander Beaumont had died of an apparent food poisoning. He had died within a short time of ingesting the poison. Estimated time was about 2 to 3 hours after ingesting the poison. The poison had been placed in his wine, and it attacked his nervous system and caused all of his major organs to shut down. It appeared that his final moments were very, very painful, burning chest and stomach pains. Apart from this, he had seemed to be in a very healthy state. This is how we think it was done. Before the rally, General Alexander Beaumont had had dinner. He was at a dinner party. Several of his colleagues had been at the party. The party had been given by the Mexican ambassador Mario Marquez, and the dinner had been a sit-down affair. Seating had been carefully arranged, and the general was supposed to have been sitting next to the ambassador's wife. But at the last minute, the seating changed. The general and the ambassador's wife, for some reason, had switched seats. The glass of wine was not meant for the general after all, and the suspect had to watch helplessly as the general drank the glass of wine. On the other hand, there was someone else who had wanted the general dead and had managed to place a glass of wine at the place setting where they thought the general would be sitting. And they too had to watch helplessly as the ambassador's wife drank the fatal glass of wine. However, she was luckier than the general because she managed to survive. It did not contain enough poison to kill her. But after being rushed to hospital, she died about a day or 2 later. There you have it. That is part 2.